Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Planet X and the Solar System. Jupiter and all gas giants are recent acquisitions. Now, Planet X system stellar cores have been coming into the solar system as comets for thousands of years, as the first documented observation of a comet occurred in 3000 BC. The Planet X system surrounds the solar system and is made up of thousands of dead star systems comprising of a star and planets, which have now turned into a dead core surrounded by a debris field. And you may look at Article 367 entitled Planet X Coming in as Comets and Affecting the Earth. Now, I use the term stellar core to describe the cores of all stars and planets. The Planet X system stellar cores are all dead in that they are photon gravitational energy depleted, and as a result they have a very low gravitational influence and cannot create matter, which all living stellar cores seem to be able to do, which makes the term white hole an appropriate descriptive name for them. And you may look at Article 522 entitled Stellar Cores are Sources of Matter or White Holes for more details. Now here you see one of these stellar cores. This is in a LASCO C2 image, and you can see that this stellar core is very close to the sun, first of all, but is also within CME plasma, which is actually solar chromospheric plasma or solar magma. And you can see that this magma, the solar magma, is moving away from the sun towards the stellar core. These objects provoke these events, and these events are actually matter creation events. Thus, stellar cores are not able to create matter, but they are able to induce the cores of living celestial objects to create matter, which they then absorb as an outer layer. They are, however, only able to absorb matter of comparable gravitational energy. So the larger stellar cores go to the sun to obtain the new outer layer, and the smaller ones will go to other planets in the solar system that have living cores in them, such as the Earth. And you may look at Article 518 entitled Planet X and Gravitational Tuning. Thus, dead stellar cores which were once living stars would most likely go to the sun, and dead stellar cores which were once living planets will go to living solar system planets. Since they can only acquire material from a solar system object with material of equivalent gravitational potential to what the dead stellar core's gravitational potential is, or currently is, their overall gravitational potential cannot change, and they will thus continue to exist as objects of much lower gravitational potential than they were as a living celestial object. Thus, objects that were once small stars will now only have the gravitational potential of small planets, and very large stars will now have the gravitational potential of large planets. Planet X system stellar cores are observed being ejected from the sun after a CME or matter creation event, which we saw right here. This is what we saw there. And so they may then, after gathering some of that material, they are then repelled away from the sun because they are seen moving away from the sun with the CME material. So this means that they may be ejected out of the solar system, or they may go into orbit around the sun. If they go into orbit, their acquired orbital position would be associated to their gravitational potential, with the highest gravitational potential objects acquiring orbits close to the sun, and the lower gravitational potential objects acquiring orbits further from the sun. This is because gravitational potential increases towards the center of a planet, or decreases from the center of the sun outwards. And this is illustrated by this diagram, which shows how it would be with a planet where the core is the point where the gravitational potential is highest, and then it decreases as we move up through the layers. So matter in the core has the most energy, the highest gravitational potential. Matter in the molten rock region, the magma, is in the next energy level. Matter in the solid rock layer is in the next level, so it will have even lower gravitational energy, and matter in the atmosphere is in the last and lowest energy level. And you may look at Article 514 entitled Stellar Cores or Gravitational Poles or Superprotons for more details. This would mean that planets with orbital radii greater than Earth's orbital radius will have a lower gravitational potential than Earth's gravitational potential. Thus, since Jupiter orbits in the outer solar system, Jupiter's core will have a lower gravitational potential than Earth's core. But Jupiter is 11 times larger than Earth. The Earth's core is now 1/5 or 20% the radius of the Earth. But we know that the Earth expanded to about twice its initial radius. So the Earth's core was initially 40% of Earth's radius, which would make that a likely estimate for all living celestial objects. And you may look at Article 521 entitled Planet X and the Flood. The Earth expanded due to matter creation by its core. Thus, if Jupiter was a living celestial object, its core should be 40% of Jupiter's radius. Therefore, Jupiter's core should be 22 times larger than Earth's core. And that's described by that equation. Jupiter should therefore have a much greater gravitational potential than the Earth. The largest cores would logically contain more energy and be able to generate more matter, which is why stars are larger than planets and galactic nuclei are larger than stars. Thus, Jupiter cannot be a living celestial object. It must have a dead core, and thus Jupiter must be a Planet X system stellar core, which became a solar system object. And here's a diagram that shows the inner planets in the solar system and the two others that orbit beyond Earth, Mars and Jupiter. So there's Mercury, Venus, and Earth, and then Mars and Jupiter. The gravitational potential in the solar system increases as we move towards the Sun. So Jupiter would have a lower gravitational potential than the Earth because it's in the outer solar system. Now, so this means that Planet X system stellar cores, once they have been able to acquire an outer layer of material, go into orbit in the solar system and thus become quiet planets in the solar system. This also means that all the gas giant planets, since they are all much larger than the Earth, must be quiet solar system planets, which came in as Planet X system stellar cores. Since Mercury and Venus are smaller than the Earth and orbit in the inner solar system, they are most likely living planets with larger cores than Earth's core. Mars is smaller than Earth and has volcanoes on its surface, so it must also be a living planet with a little less gravitational potential than the Earth, which has also been affected in a similar manner to Earth by the Planet X system stellar cores. In other words, at least one object approached it and induced it to have matter creation events, which then caused volcanoes to form as the planet ejected magma. This also most likely caused Mars to expand, just like the Earth expanded as a result of the encounter. And you may look at Article 521 entitled Planet X and the Flood. The Earth expanded due to matter creation by its core. And here are some of the volcanoes on Mars. You can see quite a few close together. And this would mean that a stellar core, a large enough stellar core that was able to cause the planet to go into a matter creation event and thus start ejecting magma and thus form these volcanoes on its surface, came very close to it, made Mars its host, at least for a while, and absorbed matter from Mars. Since the Planet X system seems to have started affecting the solar system in the last few thousand years, the gas giant planets must have been acquired in the last few thousand years, and possibly at the time of the Great Flood, when the Earth seemed to have gone through a huge cataclysmic event as a result of perhaps the first Planet X system objects entering the solar system. And you may look at Article 367 entitled Planet X Coming in as Comets and Affecting the Earth, and Article 515 entitled Current Cataclysm Engulfing the Earth Started at the Great Flood. So in conclusion, Planet X system stellar cores which come into the solar system seem to remain in the solar system and eventually settle into regular orbits after acquiring an outer layer of material from living solar system planets. Jupiter and all the gas giant planets, because they are much larger than Earth, but yet have orbital radii associated with a much lower gravitational potential than Earth's gravitational potential, must have dead cores and must therefore be dead planets, which have been acquired as planets in the last few thousand years. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.